Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to my channel Economics in 9. In this channel, I bring out the concepts of economics and explain them in less than 9 minutes. So, today's topic of discussion is a basic topic which is very integral in understanding macroeconomics, and the topic is national income accounting. So before understanding the total concept of national income, how the computing is done, what are the various steps, what are the different methods, we must get familiar and we must understand some basic terms. So this video will primarily deal with those terms. So let's begin. So first of all, we need to understand in national income accounting, we are talking about goods and services. So in our economy, we have goods which are tangible forms, which are in tangible form, like you can say apple, you can say car, anything that is tangible is a good. Service is something that is going to satisfy, it is satisfy our needs. It is intangible, like the services of a doctor, services of a teacher, services of an administrative person. So these are the goods and services. So goods and services basically satisfy the wants of the consumers, and it is produced by the manufacturers or the service providers, or they are given by the service providers. Now, when we talk about goods and services, in this video, when I talk about good, I'm referring to both goods and services. Now, there is this term called final good, which you're going to see a lot in national income accounting. And then there's term intermediate good. What is the difference between them? Why are we going to only take into account final goods and not intermediate goods? And what is a common measuring rod? We're going to shortly see. So now in national income accounting, there is a final good. Final good is that good which does not get transformed or does not get changed in, or is the final in the sense that it does not get changed in the process of production once it has attained a certain stage. So for instance, tire will be considered a final good because after manufacturing of a tire, it will not go further changes, and if it will use for the consumption purpose. But if that tire is used in the industry of the car, in the car industry, then it will become an intermediate good. So the difference between an intermediate good and the final good is in the economic nature of the good. For instance, let's take the example of tea. Now the tea leaves, they are final goods in the sense that if I buy tea, I being a consumer buy tea from a producer, that tea leaf is not going to go further, that is tea leaf is not going to undergo further transformation process. But if I am using it at my end to make tea, obviously I am using it at my home, then it will not count as an economic activity. But the same tea, if it is that tea bag or tea leaves, if they're used in a hotel or in a lounge or in a tea shop, then the tea, that processed tea that you're going to drink, that will be the final good, and the tea leaves or the tea bag, that will be the raw material. So it is not in the nature of the good, but in the economic nature of the good, that it can be final good or intermediate good. So the difference basically between final goods and intermediate goods is that final goods do not go or undergo any further transformation, whereas intermediate goods go further transformation. Secondly, the thing is common measuring rod. Now, common measuring rod is money, but before understanding the role of money, we must need to understand final goods are of two types. One is the consumption good and the capital goods. So there are certain goods like which are for direct consumption, like you can say sugar, you can say tea, you can say milk, you can say TV, and there are certain goods like capital goods like tools and implements which are used for in the production process, but they do not get wear and tear, or they are not utilized completely in the production processes like the intermediate goods, which are the raw materials or inputs. So consumer goods are not very durable, but capital goods are highly durable. And there is also one more some good which comes in between, like I gave the example of TV or sofa set you can take, which are consumer durable. So they have this durability component of the capital good, but they are for immediate consumption and are not going to help in the process of production. Now coming back to the common measuring rod, so when during the barter system there was this problem of double coincidence of wants, in the sense that if I have to exchange rice for wheat, then I will have to find a person who is willing to exchange wheat for rice. So this double coincidence of want and other difficulties of not having a common measuring rod made it very difficult in the society to have trade. Still trade was there, but the trade was limited, and because of money, the evolution of money, the origin of money, the coming of money, common measuring rod money helped in flourishing of the societies. Now, and trade. Now, why this money is important? Because what we are going to do when we talk about national income accounting, what we do is we take the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced within a financial year in a country. Okay, so that is going to be that whatever the amount that comes, whatever in terms of rupees in case of India, that will give us the volume of our national income. I hope you've understood the basic concepts, which are very confusing at times. People get a lot confused in these concepts, and hope to see you next time. Till then, have a great day and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.